Hello, everyone. Welcome back. I am Kris. This is history's first recorded battle, Battle of Megiddo. Megiddo. One of them. Maybe neither. This is the Odd Historian. So if you can see, I clicked that thumbs up. I'm already subscribed to the channel. That's all it took. If you could do that for me, helps out tremendously. Free, and it's a breeze. Click on the thanks button and donate to the channel if you'd like. If you do, you can request a video. Your name sponsors that video. This is a short video, but I was curious to see what the battle was all about. So we're doing it.
When was the first recorded battle in history? There's archaeological evidence of ancient battles such as the Talheim pit, which dates to about 5000 BC. The pit contains the remains of 34 bodies, and evidence points towards the first signs of organized violence in early Neolithic Europe. Similarly, there are references to conflicts between early kingdoms like Sumer and Elam around 2600 BC, but the accounts are sparse and lack the comprehensive detail required to be considered documented battles. The Battle of Megiddo, fought in 1457 BC, holds a special place in history as the first battle recorded in detail. This ancient clash, documented in meticulous detail by Egyptian scribes, gives us a rare glimpse into the early days of organized warfare. At the time, Egypt was at the height of its new kingdom, led by Pharaoh Thutmose III. Thutmose was one of Egypt's greatest ever pharaohs. He led over a dozen successful campaigns as he extended Egypt's borders further than any previous pharaoh. The Levant, a region stretching across modern-day Israel, Lebanon, and Syria, was critical to Egypt's ambitions and was recently conquered by Thutmose's grandfather, Thutmose I. It was a hub of trade routes and resources, and it was the link between Egypt and Mesopotamia. However, Egypt's control in the area was being challenged by a coalition of Canaanite city-states, led by the king of Kadesh. These city-states saw independence from Egyptian control, setting the stage for a monumental confrontation. The coalition forces gathered at Megiddo, a city perched on a strategic ridge that controlled access to key trade routes in the region. It stood as a formidable stronghold. The city was encircled by a massive brick wall, creating an oval-shaped enclosure approximately 315 meters in length and 230 meters in width. This defensive wall, reinforced with buttresses at regular intervals, measured around 10 meters in height and 6 meters in thickness. For both sides, controlling Megiddo was vital. Thutmose III commanded a formidable force of approximately 15 to 20,000 soldiers, supported by around 1,000 chariots. The Canaanite coalition, also fielding 1,000 chariots, had a smaller infantry force numbering about 5,000 fewer men than the Egyptians. Among Thutmose's troops were elite Nubian units renowned for their skill and precision, equipped with composite bows, the first recorded use of such weaponry in history. When Thutmose III and his forces arrived in the region, they discovered that the Canaanite coalition had fortified themselves around the city of Megiddo. To reach the city, Thutmose faced three possible routes. The northern and southern routes, while they would take longer, they were much safer. The third option, the Aruna Pass, offered a more direct path, but came with significant risks. The pass was so narrow that Thutmose's army would have to proceed in a single file, leaving them dangerously exposed to ambush. Despite the danger and against the advice of his military leaders, Thutmose recognized an opportunity. He reasoned that the Canaanites, aware of the risks, would never expect him to choose the Aruna Pass, and would therefore leave it only lightly guarded. Banking on this assumption, he made the audacious decision to lead his entire army through the perilous route. Thutmose led his forces through the narrow pass, a maneuver that stretched his army over a distance of 20 kilometers. The passes were so constrained that it took 7 hours for the entire army to successfully traverse it. The gamble paid off. As Thutmose's troops navigated the pass, the Canaanites remained unaware of their approach and had stationed their troops to only defend the northern and southern pass. By the time they realized what was happening, it was too late. Thutmose's forces had successfully emerged on the other side. That evening, when the Egyptian army had made it all the way through the narrow pass, they set up camp just south of Megiddo, with the Kina River acting as a natural barrier between them and the city. On May 15th, the Canaanite forces had regrouped and formed up on the high ground just south of Megiddo. Thutmose led his forces across the Kina River, arranging his troops in 3 divisions. Positioned west of the city, the army adopted a concave formation, with the pharaoh himself commanding the center from his golden chariot. As the battle began, the Egyptian forces advanced with precision, the flanks curving outward to envelop the enemy. Thutmose' bold strategy and his personal presence at the front inspired his troops, driving them forward with relentless energy. The Canaanite coalition, led by the king of Kadesh, struggled to maintain cohesion under the onslaught. Overwhelmed by the Egyptians' superior tactics and the morale-boosting presence of their young pharaoh, the Canaanite forces broke ranks and fled in disarray towards the fortified city of Megiddo. When the Canaanite forces were routed, the Egyptian troops failed to pursue them, opting instead to plunder the abandoned enemy camp. This lapse in discipline allowed a significant portion of the Canaanite army to retreat into the safety of Megiddo's fortress, where they regrouped and prepared to mount a defense. Therefore, Thutmose had to mount a siege that would last several months before the city was finally taken. Thutmose extended remarkably generous terms to his defeated opponents, requiring only their pledge to abstain from any future rebellions against Egypt. No ringleaders were executed, and the city itself was spared from destruction, demonstrating a strategic blend of clemency and authority in his approach to consolidating power. The spoils were immense: chariots, weapons, gold, and hostages. And Thutmose had reasserted Egypt's dominance in the Levant. The consequences of the battle of Megiddo were far-reaching. For Egypt, it solidified its control over key trade routes and resources, ensuring prosperity and stability for decades to come. From this new position, Thutmose was able to launch expeditions further north into Syria, further expanding Egypt's borders. What makes the Battle of Megiddo particularly fascinating is how it was recorded. Thutmose had a personal scribe who documented the event in remarkable detail, later carving the account into the walls of the Karnak temple. These records include not only the strategies and outcomes, but also the logistical details of the campaign, numbers of troops, quantities of supplies, and lists of plunder. It's the earliest example of a comprehensive battle report, providing historians with an invaluable window into the past. If you want to hear about how Persians used cats to defeat the Egyptians, check out this video.
Well, that was interesting. Carved into the walls, just the whole detail of the battle. That's crazy. Stupid question. I wonder if it's still around. Well, that was interesting. Short video, but I saw it and thought, well, why not? Let's take a look at it. That city looked pretty cool. Looked pretty cool. Surprised they only lasted a month in it, though. I don't know how long you. I don't know how long. I guess I was expecting them to last, but was a pretty cool city. All right, I wonder what happened to it now. I'll look that up on my own. All right, well, we're gonna end this here. Sorry, it was a short one, but that's just the video. So until next time, have a good day, have a good night.